The Sharks have a brand new goaltender. Will they lose one in the next few days? Well, that remains to be seen. But for now, we'll talk about Adin Hill to San Jose right now. This is Teal Town Live. Hello, Sharks fans and hockey fans around the world. This is Teal Town Live. It is Saturday afternoon, July 17th, 2021. The dust has settled as the trade waiver freeze has gone into play in the National Hockey League in preparation for the Seattle Kraken expansion draft. And the Sharks get a new goaltender in the process before that freeze happens. But of course, this is an interactive show, so we want you to be part of it. So chat with us and your fellow hockey fans on the page or the app right here on YouTube. Of course, follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Reddit, and of course our favorite, Discord. And of course, find everything at tealtownusa.com. I am pleased to be joined by Mr. Kevin Lacy.
Hey everybody, we're here for the 2021 NHL trade deadline and take two. This has been quite the fun day, I think, so far. And really, I was doing my expansion draft preparation for tomorrow because we'll be doing another episode of Teal Tinted Glasses tomorrow right here on the Teal Town USA family of podcasting networks. And so I was getting prepped for that, and I was thinking, boy, it's 40 minutes or so till the deadline here for signing or trading players before the teams have to prepare to submit their expansion draft lists.
Right.
Nothing's happening. This is weird. And I had a couple conversations on Twitter about Dallas, and I actually had an internal conversation, had notes written about Aidan Hill. And then the Aidan Hill shoe dropped, and then the entire Payless shoe source just came crumbling down after that. Because, wow, what a day!
Well,
what a day! Thanks for joining us if you're watching live or on your favorite podcatcher. We'll talk about that.
Absolutely. We won't be on too long, but we wanted to talk about this. And because Kevin's on, we have to have one thing and one thing only. And Rob Iman's kind of already mentioned in the chat. So, Gary, we need you to go to the podium right now.
We have a trade to announce. The San Jose Sharks trade Josef Korenar. No, it's Korenar. And a 7th round pick in the 2022 NHL entry draft to the Arizona Coyotes, now in the Central Division, for Aidan Hill. Wait, I said that backwards. I already messed it up. Damn it. It's Korenar and a 2nd round pick for Aidan Hill and a 2022 7th round pick. There we go.
There we go.
Drink up, Batman.
We'll edit it out in post. So let me talk to you about this because, and 21 Pucks, first off, thank you for canceling your trip from Cabo to join us. But, saying that's scary accurate. That's why I have him do it, because it's pretty damn good. But
we have another trade to announce, and another, and another, and another, and just check TSN because there are way too many trades.
Oh yeah, I mean, we'll you're gonna get to all of those moves on Teal Tinted Glasses tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. We'll take this question before we dive into it from Cheryl. Cheryl, good to see you, by the way. Do the Sharks have a spare second in 2022, or was that their only second currently?
I was trying to actually pull that up right as we went on the show. So you're probably going to beat me on this, puck guy, but that's a good question because I know that there is a second that's missing, unless I'm getting my draft years mixed up. I thought we were missing a draft pick already before that.
We had this year's second is missing.
This year's second.
That's supposed to go back to Ottawa as part of the Carlson deal.
Yes.
But yeah, this was the only second round pick currently that the Sharks had. So, uh,
Right.
so we'll see. There's plenty of time to recoup that. But it is
That's yeah.
that's a
You're.
second round pick though.
I'm gonna try not to go down the tunnel of getting super gripey about people complaining on that second round pick. But if you follow my Twitter at Kevin Lacy 22, I might dropped a couple times today on that. Calm down, folks. Just calm down. It's next year's second round pick. Is the Sharks prospect pool that poor that between last year's draft class, this year's draft class, and a first round pick next year, we're really going to miss the second round pick we traded today? If we are, fold the team. Like,
Well, that's the thing. Now, so a seventh, and the Sharks have easily turned those seventh round picks into magic at times. So it is interesting, but what's your overall take? I mean, I'm sure that there's been a lot of controversy, especially that Doug has always had to add on sweeteners. But what do you what do you think overall of this deal? I think for Korenar, this gets him a better opportunity, maybe.
it actually does for Korenar because Kemper's still going to be the guy. Well, I guess I'm going to the Arizona route first, but Kemper's going to still be the guy, it seems, for next year. So Aidan Hill was essentially going to be a draft casualty to the Seattle Kraken for Arizona. So they had to do something. I'm surprised it took this long. I'm surprised we didn't see a trade a couple days ago involving Aidan Hill. I did say on Teal Tinted Glasses last week, 10 days ago, I said I thought the Sharks would be the end result for Aidan Hill. That would be the ending team. I thought it would go through Seattle first, but so if you caught Teal Tinted Glasses, you heard it here first. But from the Sharks' perspective, losing the second round pick is not my favorite approach to this. But again, it's a recoverable asset. We know that Doug Wilson likes to trade draft picks just freely on draft day. So we still have 2 weeks to see what other picks. I mean, next year, 2022, the Sharks already only have 4 of their own draft picks for 2022. So that should tell you how much trading these picks go back and forth. So no reason to freak out there. Aidan Hill is a young goalie. He's 25 years old. He's done everything he needs to in his development so far. Can he be a number 1 starting goaltender? I question that. I think Ian has said it best that Hill is more of a 1B kind of guy at best. I do think he's an NHL goalie, and he has shown nothing to dispute that. But whether he can be the starter, I don't know. The Sharks have time. Aidan Hill has time to prove that he can or cannot be a starter, because I'm of the camp that the Sharks are not going to be going very far. I think they're going to be a lottery pick here the next year to 2 years, maybe even 3, but hopefully not that pessimistic. But that's going to allow Hill some time to develop into a number 1 goalie, so that by the time the Sharks are contending, hopefully Aidan Hill will be ready to take on that challenge. He's got to prove himself as a starter first. So I'm fine with that. Erik, what are your thoughts on Aidan Hill? We can talk about like his style and all that for those who are unfamiliar, but I'm curious what your internal thoughts were when you found out about the trade.
Well, I remember him kind of stoning the Sharks a few times this season.
Sure.
But the guy is huge. I mean, Korenar is 6'1", but looking at elite prospects, I mean 6'6".
Yep.
203 pounds, 25 years of age. I think he's shown that he's played fairly well. Looking at his stats, he was 9-9-1 with the Desert Dogs. Oh, excuse me, sorry.
You gonna have your soda?
Yeah, I don't have my soda. I just
Oh.
It's hot outside. But 9-9-1 with the 913 save percentage at 274 goals against. Easily the best numbers we would see from from a Sharks goaltender
Right.
in quite some time. I do like the large, stature of him. I think that's going to be huge down the road for them and to make the big stops.
I like how you mentioned a 6'6" goalie, which will be huge down the road to make the big stops. Yes. Can
I
we
know
pile
words
that
are the
on
best
anymore
words.
that he's 6'6"?
But I mean, to me, I mean, he's put up decent numbers,
Yeah.
save percentage wise, and just going back to the 3 years with the Coyotes, 901 in 1819, 918 in 1920, 913, this past year. I mean, he played with Team Canada, I believe, at the World Championships with the 173 goals against and 909 save percentage. I think it's a good move. You get I think a larger guy net. I mean, yes, it's kind of like the reversal of Archer's Urbe for those going back in the day, where he's
Friend of the show, Artur Urban.
absolutely like Wall. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how this is, and you have time. You can now create you can make a tandem, like you said, a 1B, but who's that tandem going to be with?
That's a great question, and that's something. When I made the Aidan Hill prognostication last week, I didn't know whether or not it would be like Hill and Korenar, Hill and Jones. I just felt like if the Sharks were to acquire a goalie, it would be Hill. I didn't get as far as what are they going to do with Martin Jones. Ian and I have debated quite a bit about whether or not Jones gets bought out. Ian believes that he will. I don't think he will. So it's a coin flip right now, and I don't see that happening for at least another week. There are 2 buyout periods here in the off season, so I wouldn't even be surprised if Jones gets bought out. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen until the second buyout period.
And when is that, by the way? Because I know there's one that we're in right now, and I would assume with Hill, and that's a good point that you bring up with Jones, but to have Hill now here, I would assume that means Martin. And of course, we don't know these things because, of course, the NHL is like gun shy about saying anything roster wise. But I would assume that Martin Jones is exposed to Seattle to take in the expansion draft.
100%. Because before this trade happened, it was going to be Korenar being exposed because of him signing that contract a couple of days ago, that contract extension. Now the role kind of reverses here, where Jones, who's the guy you would want to expose because of his contract and poor performance over the last 3 years, Martin Jones now can be the goalie they expose. The Sharks are maximizing their protection spots because now they can actually protect a goalie that they want to protect versus a de facto goalie. Just So I from that perspective, I think that's good management. I do want to talk about the trade of assets a little bit more because a bunch of people, and I think rightfully so, have asked, why is Korenar in this trade to begin with? Why is it not just Hill for a second round pick, which still sounds a little bit high for an unproven goalie? And I won't denounce that, but I think when you're looking at asset management and you're talking about discussing with other GMs, we all know Doug Wilson is known as the dentist. We know that he will just pry every little bit of enamel he possibly can and go from there. I think with Korenar, if Aidan Hill is the guy, what do we care about Josef Korenar? If Aidan Hill is the guy, Josef Korenar is not the guy. So even if Korenar wasn't included, he'd have nowhere else to go. So for asset management and trying to coerce another GM into making this trade, put it in. It's who the heck's the GM in Arizona? It's not Chaika anymore.
Armstrong, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so Armstrong. You're going to Armstrong and you say, I've got a third round pick, and we want Aidan Hill. Would you do it for a third round pick? And then I would hope that Doug Wilson used the vantage point of, because you're gonna lose him in expansion
Right.
anyway. Hey, hey, hey. So I would have hoped that would have carried more weight. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Don't know what happened behind closed doors.
Yep.
But if Doug Wilson should have that idea of Aidan Hill's going to be the guy. So Korenar is expendable. Oh, to sweeten the pot, let me add Korenar here because it's not going to cost us anything, but it might be enough to push Armstrong into making this trade. Maybe Armstrong comes back and says, yeah, Korenar, that's not bad, but that third's just not quite there. How about a second? I'm sure Wilson and his team went back and forth about that for a while. Again, I'm just speaking theoretically, but it's not just a why give him a second round pick outright? We don't know what back and forth happened there.
Right.
It might have started out as a fifth in Korenar for all we know. I don't think Doug Wilson's stupid. Some of the moves he's made are questionable, but I ultimately don't think he's stupid. So Korenar, an expendable asset when you bring in Aidan Hill. It's just like when the Sharks brought in Erik Karlsson. What do we care about losing Dylan DeMello? Although it's kind of, looking back now, it's kind of funny because Dylan DeMello has proven himself to be quite a good defenseman in the NHL.
Yeah, that's pretty
but
good.
At the time, it was, why do we care about losing Dylan DeMello? We're getting Erik Karlsson.
Yeah.
So I love Josef Korenar. I've been on the back of this guy from day one. But I don't know if he's a full-time NHL goalie. And I think that Adin Hill is. I don't know if he's a starter, but I really don't think Korenar is an NHL starter. So I think we got the better goalie, and that's all that mattered out of this whole thing.
That makes sense. I mean, Korenar definitely got his fair share of looks. I think just a little bit more than Melnichuk. And I would have to say,
and if Melnichuk is the guy like so many people think he is, the goalie of the future and all that, again, what do we care about Korenar?
Well, and that's my whole point is that I assume that they are assuming that Melnichuk is more valuable to them than Korenar.
Right.
So it makes sense to give, and Doug Wilson, we've heard say this throughout his tenure as GM. Trying to give them opportunities, somewhere else if they're not going to make it here. So,
yeah,
totally makes sense. So, yeah, you get a chance to prove you're number one. It's kind of similar to, 6 years ago when San Jose traded their first round pick in 2016 to Boston for some guy named Martin Jones to see if he was the number one. Yeah, you get a seventh back. You give up a second, but it's better than the first in Sean Corrali. Yes, Jones did get you to 2 wins of the big shiny thing, but what have you done for me lately? And
I'd still make that trade all day, though, because when you're looking at it, it's Sean Corrali and Trent Frederick, who's about to be exposed in the expansion draft. For Martin Jones. Martin Jones, obviously, last few years, not very good. Not very good. Everyone will tell you that.
Yeah.
But I'd still make that trade all day because Martin Jones was great that first year, and he was the best player in the Cup Finals against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So
he had
Trent Frederick. I'm not sweating Trent Frederick, just like I'm not sweating this second-round pick that the Sharks gave up today.
This is where I wish I had AJ Saunders so you could go, who? Because, you haven't heard much from him too much, but
3 years ago, AJ was saying who about Josef Korenar,
and now it was a mighty trade asset on a trade that might send the Sharks up a hill and shining bright. Just saying.
Nice.
I don't know.
I like it. Just as long as some of those pucks don't climb over the hill into the top of the net.
That's true. Or a beach ball for that matter. I mean, come on. So to reiterate, Aidan Hill is now a San Jose Shark. According to Cap Friendly, he's arbitration eligible. I've seen that he might also be. He has free agency in a couple of years though, so I'm not sure on that. I don't know if you can look that up really quick, but
He is arbitration eligible. So I would assume that Adin Hill is going to either get a 1-year show me deal, or he's going to end up getting something like 5 years. And if we're going the 5-year route, I would be a little bit concerned because you're probably looking at a higher price tag and higher cap hit, because Hill's going to want to get paid for, even though he hasn't proven himself. I mean, look at what's been going on around the league the last number of years, where players have one good year and they get $8 million to figure it out the next 6 years. I don't think it's going to go that route, but I think Hill, it would be great to get him in at $2 million, 2.5 most. But I could see this being like 5 by 3 by 5 kind of thing.
Interesting. And Ian, hello, good sir. Hope you're enjoying your time away. Jones trade was fine. That was the market at the time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just glad that they aren't trying to shelve out a first for something like this, which is good. But hey, win-win all around. I think this is a big improvement. Well, we'll see if it's a big improvement, but I mean,
I think it's a low risk gamble.
Right.
Like I put it last week on Teal Tinted Glasses. I said it's a low risk, medium reward if the Sharks were to acquire Aidan Hill, and it happened. So, and if it ends up being a high reward, obviously that's what we want. I'm tempering my expectations right now, but I don't think he's going to crap the bed like the goaltending has the last couple of years. And I think that the Sharks looked at Korenar and his cup of coffee this past season and said, "You did an adequate job, but do you want your goalie to do an adequate job or a good job?" Aidan Hill has done neither. But we know Korenar has done an adequate job. So yeah. I'm okay with it.
So yeah.
I hope everyone else is. I'm trying to convince you that it's not the best thing. I'm just saying it's not the worst thing either.
Yeah. So arbitration eligible, restricted free agent. We'll see how that goes. Free agency in a couple, UFA in a couple of years. So that'll be interesting to see how that turns out, if there's going to be any type of deal. Should be fun though. A new goaltender. The Sharks needed one. Doug did say he was after a third line center and a goalie.
Yep.
Did he acquire his goalie of the future? We'll see. Did he find his tandem goalie? We'll see as well. So, in case you missed anything, or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button. We are trying to grow this big time. Can't wait. Don't worry. We got a lot of stuff happening coming up this week. SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and of course, always onto the website at tealtownusa.com. Of course, on the YouTube channel tomorrow night, Teal Tinted Glasses, Kevin Lacy. You're over there. Along with Ian and Hockey Jerk, we'll be breaking down this trade even more so. The trades that happened. I mean, former Shark Barclay Goodrow is currently a New York Ranger. Will he get signed? We'll see. Plus you guys are going to be prepping for the expansion draft. See how that happens. I mean, it'd be nice if somebody leaked out the list. That's for damn sure. And then, of course, getting ready for Friday night for round 1 of the NHL draft. The Sharks have the 7th pick overall. So, Kevin, by all means, promote yourself for tomorrow night. It should be a big, big show.
Yeah, we already had a lot of content coming for tomorrow's show anyway. Of course, we'll probably touch up a little bit more on Tampa Bay Lightning win the Stanley Cup, even though we broke the news while we were on the air, which
Yes.
was just a coincidence and good for us. And who knows which other player predictions will come true after what last week's show. So definitely check out Teal Tinted Glasses in the future. We're at Teal Tinted Pod on Twitter. But we'll be discussing the expansion draft as well. We'll be providing you. I assume going over each team's lists and giving our takes on who gets exposed and who doesn't, because there have been a few names. Vladimir Tarasenko sounds like he's being exposed, so there are some names out there that we can chat about. Plus, we've been building our own list of who we would have protected. I have a feeling our Sharks list is going to be unanimous, but I'm actually really interested to see how much I differ from Hockey Jerk and also Ian. So check it out. I believe we'll be on at 7 p.m. Pacific on Sunday. And then again, the draft show coming up soon, or the expansion draft coming up soon, the entry draft coming up soon. We got a lot of great content coming out there. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and make sure your notifications are ringing on YouTube or your favorite podcatcher so that you don't miss any of the action.
Absolutely. We will be on live after. So think about this, folks. Sunday night, Teal Tinted Glasses with Mr. Lacy over there. Wednesday night, we'll be on right after the expansion draft to go over everything that happened and what the Kraken have. Or should we say what's crack-a-lackin'? I don't know.
Could be a Kraken.
Yes. Friday, we'll recap the entire round 1. We might even live feed up until the Sharks pick at number 7. So we'll see there. So Doug, please don't trade down. Please don't trade down. And then we'll recap on Saturday or Sunday. We'll see all the picks that the Sharks pick up. Will they go all forwards again? I highly doubt it.
I really doubt it.
Will they go Will they go goaltending at number 7? That's another one that you guys will get into. But
yeah.
Ian already predicting a 4-hour Teal Tinted classes. So, oh boy. So you guys, I have inventory at work at midnight tomorrow night. You guys might still be on when I'm waking up and going to work. So I'm looking forward to that.
Don't drink coffee, but apparently I'll need to start.
Yes. All right. So that'll do it for us. He's at Kevin Lacy 22. I'm at Puck Guy 14. Teal Tinted Glasses on Sunday night at 7 p.m. And, of course, we'll have draft coverage all week long on here. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. We appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, keep it real. Keep it teal. Keep it real teal. Have a great day, everyone. Aidan Hill is a San Jose Shark. Good afternoon and good night, everyone.